welcome to the show. A good friend of mine, Shenna Younger, officially.
Hi.
Hey, good to see you. I love your T-shirt.
Good to see you too. Thank you.
I love your T-shirt.
Thank
I
you.
feel bad.
And
I'm actually wearing a Huskies T-shirt, so another one of my true loves.
this was made by a swim high school graduate, Sydney. Swim Strong mug.
Swim strong through and through. Shout out to the high school graduates. That's a whole nother story during all of this, quarantine, is those poor kids at high schools, right?
For sure. Tough year.
Well, I wanted to get you on because you hold a pretty awesome position. You are can you go ahead? I've already forgotten your title with OMC. It is?
I am the provider recruiter, as well as I do the recruiting for all of our clinics. So pretty much all of the positions that are not in the hospital, with the exception of physicians. I do all of the physician recruiting with the exception of the emergency room physicians.
So how similar do you think it is to when I got to be the recruitment chair for my fraternity, rolling out the red carpet with cheap beer and taking them to, the park to go throw the football? How much do you think there's any similarity there?
I definitely think that when you have a recruiting heart, you have a recruiting heart, and you can. But I love that. That's hilarious. I never knew that about you, James. That's a good little nugget about you.
We're peeling back the layers of the onion. I feel like.
Yeah, you think you're interviewing me, but really,
you never know.
We're finding out about you today.
Could be a confessional the other way. You never know. I feel like with recruitment, like you said, if you have passion and you love where you're working, it's easy to recruit people. At the fraternity, I loved it. It was everything. I had so many good friends. And so to me, it sold itself. And I bet you feel similarly about what you do.
I do. I just am really passionate about our area. And I think that for a physician or a physician assistant or ARNP, which is a practical nurse, I think that, they're really looking for a place where they can, feel their sense of community. And it's not for everybody. It's not, but it is really for most, I think. I like to believe that. And I feel like once I can get people out here, I always say like the med-surg floor looks like a med-surg floor no matter where you go. But really what people are coming out here for is this an environment, a team environment that they can see themselves in? And does the community, is the community a place where they can picture themselves living? And so I show them the area. I take them to spots that the tourists that are not on the tourists map, as well as a couple of touristy spots mixed in there. But I take them off the beaten path and I show them what life is really like in our area. So it's such a rewarding and fun job. I love it.
That's something, I never really thought about. I love your soundtrack of the nature birds in the background as well. That's awesome. That's something I never really thought about with recruiting to a hospital like that, is showing that, I always just figure, like you said, show them the operating room, show them where they're going to be working, talk about salary. Here's this. Like, you're actually kind of doing more a holistic approach of like, this is the area, this is the, beautiful terrain you're going to get to live in.
Yeah. I really think that when you think about, moving to a different place, you want to know like how you would fit in there. Do they have the activities that you enjoy doing with your family or solo, depending on the provider? And for some, like I said, it's not for everybody. For some people, nightlife and the city life is really where their heart is. So we're able to vet that out. But for the most part, people love it. And I tell you, I've joked about this with Ryan and Sarah from Dungeness Valley Creamery, but I take everybody to the creamery and that's where they fall in love, right? Like, everyone loves that creamery and those babies. And so, yeah, so places like that, that maybe somebody that just, came here as a tourist or came here without having somebody to show them around wouldn't really necessarily know about that creamery. And so I try to find those hidden nuggets, and show them really the heart of our community.
Shout out to Ryan and Sarah as well. They may have to be
Yes.
the next guest on this show, because we go there all the time with friends and during the farm tour. And we watched on Facebook Live during the COVID lockdown. They did like the releasing of the cows into the pasture on Facebook Live, and we're one of like the 200 people watching it. So Ryan and Sarah, you guys are probably next. You mentioned something, I know you have to run for work this morning. You mentioned something that is near and dear to my heart, and the word community. You have any great stories about kind of during the last 10, 12 weeks of these trying times, examples of our community stepping up to support those workers that you're, helping recruit and that are helping us?
Gosh, there are so many examples. I put a call into the Port Angeles Rotary because we were concerned, that during this time and having spouses that are getting laid off and there's already just a lot of stress around everything going on. And so food insecurity was a bit of a concern. And so made a call, and Matt Miller, he is with Uplift Financial. He said, you know what, I'm just going to take care of it. He went and bought a cabinet. He filled it with food. And we didn't know what to expect. And the next day, the cabinet was completely empty. And so he got the Port Angeles Noon Rotary to fund 6 weeks of filling that cabinet twice a week. And each time it was gone. And there's never, by the time they came to refill it, it was empty. So every time. And so it's just been really amazing to see that piece of our community come together. We've had Natalie with Pour Sit Paint. I think I messed that up. Sorry, Natalie. But everyone knows Natalie. She's amazing. And so she helped do a bunch of chalk art at our Port Angeles and Sequim campuses, which really raised spirits quite a bit. We've had this super awesome cashier from the Port Angeles Safeway who, she's kind of going through her own frontline battle, but she painted all of these cute little rocks with masks on them that are now around the hospital. We've had elementary kids drawing pictures and writing thank you cards that we have up on the windows. There's just so many examples, and it just continues and goes on and on. So the way that our community has just supported each other, not just our hospital, but just really supported each other through all of this, and try to support local businesses and do everything that we can to keep us all going has been the silver lining in all this.
Yeah, it's one of those things that when you're from the outside looking in, I don't think people quite grasp how much support this community gives to each other when someone falls down, picking them up, and the opportunities. And there's just such a giving heart mentality out there that I think from the outside in, they're like, oh, that's kind of cute. But when you experience it, I mean, as you mentioned, it can be really fulfilling. And talking with lots of different business owners, we're on the cusp of getting to start to creep open a little bit, which is really exciting. And I know that a lot of the times it's just been this community support and morale that's helped people keep going through all of this.
Yeah.
Well, any parting words? I know you have work this morning. Any words of inspiration for your friends and family that are going to watch you now that you're a big time Clallam Corner celebrity?
I would just say that, as we move into phase 2, support our local businesses. I think Walmart and Home Depot have taken enough money from this community. It's time to get back out there and support our local folks. We want everyone to stick around. It's heartbreaking to hear of some of our most treasured businesses closing, and I would like to make sure that no one else has to go through that. So that would be my words, is just support local as much as you can, and just keep hanging in there. It's a tough environment, but together we'll get through it.
Yep. And I will echo on that, having owned a business and reading all of the steps to get open for phase 2. Be patient, you guys. There's a lot of hurdles and a lot of weird stuff. And maybe people have been out of work coming back. And I mean, it's going to be awesome to get out there, but just realize that for the near and dear future, it's going to be a little different. So just get out there and do what you can. And Shenna, thank you so much on a Friday morning for spending some time with me. And thanks for repping your Swim Strong stuff too.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Well, have a good weekend.
All right. Thanks, James.
Bye.
Bye.